And a damning report finds misogyny, sexual discrimination and harassment are still everyday problems for female musicians in the UK. We'll ask 3 women in the industry about their experiences. Misogyny, sexual discrimination and harassment are still everyday problems for female musicians in the UK, a new report has found. 6,000 music industry professionals were surveyed, including 2,500 women. The report said women are paid less than men and often experience shorter careers, despite being trained and educated to a higher level. It also says a third of women in the music industry have been sexually harassed at work, with many reporting it as a barrier to their career. On average, women earn 10% less than their male counterparts, with an average annual income of £19,850 compared to £21,750 for men. The findings come from the first ever UK musicians census conducted by the Musicians Union and Help Musicians. GENN is a Maltese band now based in Brighton. Have a quick listen.
Losing yourself over sleepless sleep, strolling aimlessly with a heightened desire.
And 2 of the band, Leanne Zamit and Janelle Borge, are here alongside Charissa Severio, who is DJ Rap, who's been working in the music industry for decades and was one of the pioneers of the jungle and drum and bass genres. Welcome all of you. Thank you very much for being with us. You've been in this industry a long time. Have you experienced predatory behaviour?
It's really interesting because I have, but never within the music industry.
Okay.
So for me, it's a safe place. I don't have that, and I've never experienced it. I mean, I think sexism exists everywhere, and it's something that you walk home, you have your keys out, and this is just the way we are. We have to think of all those things. But for me, in the drum and bass scene and the jungle scene, it feels like family and home, and no, I don't have that. I think I've only ever had one experience abroad, because I lived in America 22 years, where a promoter did end up in my hotel room, and I called my agent and I was like, so-and-so's in the hotel room, and he was like, oh, he's harmless, and obviously I left that agent. But that's the only time in 40-year career, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you two?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I think, I mean, we've definitely been at this for a shorter amount of time, but I think having experienced it in multiple countries as well, we've definitely seen different versions of being treated kind of differently for that, and kind of even
because you're women.
Because we're women, yeah. And so
Can you give us some
instances
examples?
like,
yeah, unfortunately we had a lot of instances ranging from people that we were in bands with, for example, passing comments, or having people tell you like, oh, you're good for a female guitarist, or you're good for a female bassist.
People trying to climb onto the stage to touch you, kind of thing. Like,
yes.
It's
so unfortunately we went through the ringer, basically.
Yeah.
I think we don't get it as much now because there's more awareness, but it's more subtle sometimes. And like you were saying, when it comes to being paid, being put on certain lineups, there is still that glass ceiling, unfortunately, in the guitar world, where, there are in general less women in bands, so.
Right. I think it depends on the scene as well, because I think we've definitely been, I'd say fortunate in the modern day, in that we've built like a fan base over the years that we have been active that are quite like, I think, good people. But then we know experiences from other like females in the industry who are in different genres and stuff that have also like, the stories are genuinely
horrible.
Shocking.
Literally.
But you're talking about fellow musicians being potentially sexist, saying, not bad for a woman, essentially. You're talking about spectators, the crowd, getting on stage to touch you. And pay differentials, is that a thing?
Yeah, unfortunately, as I said, in the guitar world, it's completely different. We're also discussing this backstage, where sometimes you don't get put on a roster because there's already a female or all-female band, you know, even that term is exclusionary.
So they can't have too many females?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I mean, we've seen this with a lot of festival lineups, and there was a lot of outcry, for example, last year with bigger festivals not having any female artists at the top. Thankfully, that's changing bit by bit, but there's still a very long way to go in the guitar world.
I think a lot of that comes to like this cognitive pigeonholing of what, like, because again we're an all-femme band, and we've often, for example, had this assumption where it's like, oh, you must be Riot Girl, even, you know, like if you listen to any song,
you must be what? Sorry?
You must be a Riot Girl band just because
Right.
you're all, you know, like you're all like femme presenting in a band, and you're all, you know. Just those connotations like that, and they think, you know, oh, we've already booked a Riot Girl act, so we don't need another one, kind of thing.
Yeah.
This king of the hill mentality, where it's kind of like, oh, we have one, it's enough,
Sure.
you know, tokenism.
Let's just play a clip of you DJing. Let's have a look at this.
Dear rapper general, well, if you need some life in your party, call we can get
Do you know if you get paid the same as male DJs?
So here's the thing. Generally, the female DJs do get about 25% less.
Why?
But, well, I was speaking to my agent about this today. We were having this discussion. When I was signed to Sony, I was earning more than all of my male counterparts. There's the techno DJs, the female DJs, cleaning up, earning often more than the male DJs. So I've been at the spectrum where, you know, you got to look at it from the promoter's point of view. You've got to be able to put bums on seats, right? So what a promoter looks at is, do you have a good social media presence? Are you able to draw tickets in? I'm a promoter, do my own small nights, and the first thing when I call up my agent is like, who will sell tickets, who will promote the night, and, you know, who's popular. So if you've been making records for a really long time, okay, and then you've put all the work in, and then someone has to put a female DJ on just to tick a box of gender, is that fair when some guy has been studying his whole life and putting out records and doing that? Do you know what I mean? Why?
So in some cases, one DJ is just more popular.
Well, it depends on your record, your discography, what you've done. I mean, look at someone like Carl Cox, for example. He's doing the same thing that I'm doing, but just because they're in a different genre, the money is different, the festivals are bigger, things are different. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that in our scene, we're very lucky. It's about the talent as a producer and what you're doing. But you have to think about it from the promoter's perspective, from the agent's perspective. They're going to fight hard to get you the best money, but it does depend on how many tickets you can sell.
Do you accept that? Is that fair?
That's true. I think the issue is more with the pipeline and who's actually championed behind the scenes, especially in the guitar kind of alternative music scene. So obviously, you know, tickets. And as you said, you know, how many people attend your shows, it's obviously, you know, a big thing, and the team that you surround yourself with. But unfortunately, it's also about the pipeline and who gets championed, who gets platformed.
It's cyclical.
It's cyclical.
What do you mean?
Because if, for example, you know, female artists don't get championed at the lowest level or don't get signed because there are already, you know, that box is already ticked, for example, even though you're talented and you're, you know, doing your own stuff. Then you don't get the platform to sell more tickets, basically.
It's like people assume the women don't make money, so they don't book the women, but then that means that the women can never reach a point where they make money because it feeds into itself.
You should come to Drum and Bass.
Maybe.
Love to.
Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you so
on the
much.
programme.
Thank you for
Really
your time.
appreciate it. Thank you. Charissa Severio, DJ Rap, Leanne and Janelle from GENN. Thank you.